Okay, awesome. Okay, guys. Thank y'all for being on today. And I am super, super excited that Jenn Wieland, known as Jenny to me, I think I'm the only person that calls her Jenny around here, but I do, is going to share some information with us today. So Jenn is my level 2. Her sister-in-law, Kathleen White, is her sponsor, and Kathleen's my level 1. We know each other from Prosper. And Jenn and I just became instant friends from the time that we met. Our families have become friends, and so I just adore her. But I respect her. She's an amazing leader. I learned so much from her. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that too. Or, I've been in her office in Nebraska and said, oh my gosh, let me have that. Let me copy that or whatever, because she really is an amazing leader. And let me tell you, she took Plexus to Nebraska in an area that had never heard of Plexus. And she spread Plexus, and she has an amazing growing team. She's on her way to Sapphire. She has team events. She has team meetings. She's always doing something. She's so creative and has all these fun ideas of how to grow your team. But the thing that's different about me and Jenn is that I signed up to get my products at wholesale, which a whole lot of us did. But that's not what Jenn did. She truly signed up for the business. Now, yes, she's had great success with the products, and that's been an added blessing for her and her family. But that's not what she signed up for. She really saw this opportunity and took it and ran. And so we asked her to be on today, one, to tell us, because she shares business first. And for a lot of us, including myself, sometimes that's harder to do because I've always shared product first. And so she's going to tell us how she does that, but how amazing this opportunity is, and some things that she has done. Like I said, she took it to an area when no one knew about Plexus and grew this amazing team. And so it's been fun to watch the past, are you 4 years yet? You're 4 years. Yeah, in November it was 4 years, December. So anyways, I'm just going to give it to her. I have a few questions at the end that I want her to answer for us. But if y'all have questions, put them in the chat, and I'll talk to her throughout. It's kind of can be interactive or whatever. But put any questions in the chat that y'all get ready. This is going to be awesome. So thanks, Jenn, for being on.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for that introduction. Like, that just makes me smile, and it's like, oh, really? I am so excited to be here. And I told Beth, it was either come home and shower after my first class at Jazzercise or stay for an extra class. I chose to stay for an extra class, so I'm sweaty and gross. So I'm thankful this isn't smell-o-vision. It's just Zoom, and you can't smell me. So I just got done with that. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. I almost couldn't sleep last night because this is my favorite thing to talk about. And on top of doing the Zoom today at 10:30, I went to Lincoln, Nebraska last night, and we had an event. And then I did another training at 8:30 for about an hour. And because I was on the road, I'm an hour and a half from Lincoln. I live in Grand Island, Nebraska. Because I'm an hour and a half from there, I had to stay at the coffee shop and do my Zoom training for another team. And this is what we talked about, leading with the business. And so I was fired up. I was excited. I felt just like all this energy to talk about leading with the business. And it was kind of fun because my middle daughter lives in Lincoln. She's a sophomore in college there at UNL, and she was with me. So it was kind of fun. I had my laptop up sitting here. She was across from me, and she's like, it's kind of like we're doing homework together. I was like, yeah. So she got to listen in on this training that we did. And when we were done and we walked out at about 9:30 at night, and she was like, Mom, I still get goosebumps when I hear your story. And you guys, that's why we tell it. That's why we tell our stories, because it brings back life. It brings back all those raw emotions as to why you joined. And like Beth said, I joined for the business. Did I know what kind of business I was getting myself into? No. All I knew was that my sister-in-law had been drinking this pink drink. She had lost 20 pounds. She looked really good. She threw that packet of pink drink at me and said, you should take this back to Nebraska. It's kind of new. I don't think anybody's doing it. I shoved the pink drink in my purse, and forgot about it for the whole weekend. Didn't even think a thing about it. So on my drive back to Grand Island, Nebraska from Dallas, Texas, it was 10 hours. I remembered I had that pink packet in my purse, and I think I was just kind of bored, like sitting in the car and driving. And so I pulled it out and I mixed it in my bottle of water and I drank it. I was like, oh, that tastes really good. And so then got my cell phone out and pulled up Plexus, started reading about it, and I was like, God, this is really interesting. So it created a conversation between my husband and I, and he literally just said, well, you should just do it. And I was like, really? Like, I had never considered doing a business like this online or anything. You guys, to be honest with you, this sounds so silly. I did not even know Plexus was multi-level marketing, okay? Because I wasn't familiar with what that meant. Direct sales, none of that. I just knew that for months and months and months leading up to that car ride, I had been diehard praying, like, Lord, I need something. Like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? My husband and I own and operate Sonic drive-ins. I'm married into a Sonic family, entrepreneurial family, but that was his passion and his love, and he had fun with that. So I would go into the restaurant and help pay bills, do payroll, all that good stuff, boss everybody around, tell them to clean the Sonic, and then I'd leave. And then I would come home and I'd be like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? I literally had that yearning in my heart that I knew there was something different for me to do. And so Nathan had said, Jen, maybe you could sell real estate or maybe go into insurance. He knew I love people. I like to talk. I just like to be out in the community and things like that. And I kept telling him, no, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to be gone on the weekends. Like, I want to be home. I like to be able to go to my kids' games. We have 3 daughters that were super busy. And so looking into this Plexus thing, I thought, I can do this. Like, I can sell a pink drink, because that's all I thought you guys had at this time was a pink drink. And I thought it was all weight loss. And you guys, I didn't need to lose weight at this time. I was just wanting something fun to do. So I called Kathleen and I said, hey girl, sign me up for this Plexus stuff. And she goes, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do that. Let me call my friend Beth. And she hung up. She called me back, said, get your credit card out. Let's do this. And I signed up over the phone. So as I'm signing up, we were kind of giggling because Nathan was trying to talk to me in the background. And I was like, just a minute, I'm working. I was already saying, this is my job. Just a minute. Kathleen and I are on a conference call. Like, we totally made fun of it, not knowing how serious it was going to be, not knowing how it was going to impact our whole family. Okay. And so Beth had just turned Emerald. She had just got her white Lexus, made fun of that. Like, I don't know who Beth Anderson is from Adam. She just tells me that her friend Beth just got a Plexus Lexus. And I was totally cheesed out about it. I was like, really, a Plexus Lexus? Come on. That's silly. And so not knowing that 15 months later, I'd be like driving a Lexus, which is crazy. My personality, you guys, is one as, if you hear people talk about the 4-color personality book of an MLM, you've got your green, your blue, your yellow, your red. I'm a blue. Like, I'm a hardcore blue. I love people, parties. I love, all the things that get people together so you can have a good time. That's what Plexus did for me. It just accentuated the fact that I just get to meet more people. And the culture of Plexus is so different. Fell in love with that too. So I knew when I joined that, okay, I'm going to have to start posting on Facebook and all that good stuff. Before Plexus, I didn't really care for Facebook at all. But the day I got my products, it was December 8th, 2014. 14? 13.
Yeah.
I can't remember 14.
No.
13. I get my products on December 8th, and I called Kathleen, and I was like, okay, I'm going to post about this on Facebook. And she goes, no, wait. Like, nobody knows I'm doing it. Let me post first. And I said, well, you better hurry up, So she goes and posts on Facebook, and then I go and post, and my phone blew up. People wanted to know what this Plexus stuff was. So that's how my journey began with Plexus.
And let me say, she didn't have a story at that time.
No story.
Posted with no story at all. She just did it.
And we'll talk about this here in a little bit, because a lot of times that's the question I get. from people. Like, how do you lead with the business if you don't have a business? How do you lead with the business if you don't have a story? You know, what if people say, you know, I don't want this business, I don't want to share? How do you address people that come to you with that? You know, and so we'll talk about that here in a little bit, messages that I send out and things like that. You can only do so much for people, right? You can only preach to them, talk to them, tell them, you know, how life-changing these products are. They have to take it and run with it. It's what is inside of them, you know, and I love on my team, but if they want this, they've got to go for it, you know? And so I knew I wanted to go for it. I remember immediately starting to get those paychecks in the mail, you guys, and this is back when we got the checks in the mail. We got paid 5 times a month. I was like, this is crazy. I'm getting paid 5 times a month. And I didn't have direct deposit because I had no clue what that meant or even how to do that. You guys, before Plexus, I would not have known what this whole Zoom thing was. I didn't copy and paste. I didn't know how to make a PowerPoint. Like, I was a mom of 3 girls and I did the mom thing. Like, I didn't do the computer techie thing, you know? And so that's just one more avenue that I have grown into with Plexus, not knowing that was going to be part of this job. And it's been so much fun. And so getting those paychecks in every Friday, you know, I would get a check and I would look at it, and I kid you not, when I say I would open that check and it would be for the amount of a medical bill that I had due. Okay. I joined for the business, but you guys, I was in medical debt up to my eyeballs. I was a sick girl and thought that's just how it was going to be, because again, I thought Plexus was for weight loss. I didn't think it was going to address my high blood pressure and my thyroid issues and my asthma issues and all that jazz. And it started to do that like right away. And so I joined for the business and I started building my belief in these products, and the products were like rocking my world. And so for me to lead with the business, I do that because we know the products work, right? We have a 1% return rate on our Plexus products. Our products work, okay? But we have such a society of people struggling with their finances. We have such a society of people worried about how they're going to pay their kids' college tuition. You know, that's where I was with 3 girls. I had one going into college. I had one in high school. I had one that was involved in every activity under the sun. And living paycheck to paycheck, that is seriously no fun at all. And so to open up my heart to people and start sharing with them why I chose this business, number one, I started getting paid immediately. You guys, we can get paid as quick as we want to with Plexus. Number 2, those checks that were coming in were changing my life from the get-go. And so when I have somebody I'm talking to, when somebody's joining my team, I talk to them about getting that $500 commission, like $500 personal volume, because you want them to have 25% commission from the get-go. Like when you're talking of $100 personal volume, that's their own product that they're ordering every month. When you're going from 10% commission to 25% commission, it's a game changer. And so leading with the business to tell somebody, listen, let's get you $500 so you can get that 25% so you can have some life-changing money. $500 a month is life-changing money. And that is what my aim was when I started. I told Nathan, if I can do $400 or $500 extra a month to give our girls spending money, things like that, that'll be awesome. That's all I want. That's all I want. When the check started coming in and it was paying off medical debt and this and this and that, I knew, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It was the purpose I had been praying for. I immediately became passionate about it because it changed my life. And that's what people read into. If you're wondering, like, I don't have a story, or I'm a silver ambassador, I'm making $500 a month, or I'm a brand new ambassador and you haven't even gotten a customer or somebody to join your team yet, and you're thinking, well, how do I share the business with somebody? Share the hope that you have for you in this business, Because people, they need that hope, you guys. They need that. They lay awake at night thinking, you know, okay, is this all there is? Is this all there is me worrying about retirement, or worrying about my daughter who's a senior in high school and she's going to college next year, and we're going to be in debt because I'm going to have to be taking out loans to pay for her college. Like, these are the things that are going through people's mind. I guarantee you, you know somebody that is struggling with that. Or somebody that goes to the grocery store and they know they can't fill their cart to the top because maybe they've got $150 in their checking account and they still have to pay bills. And so they've got to watch what they're spending. Those are the things I think about when I'm sharing this business with somebody. I was at Dillard's the other day. My mom was here for 5 days visiting with me. We had such a good week. And one of the days she needed a new coat. So we go to Dillard's and she's shopping for a coat. And the lady that comes over and starts talking to us immediately started telling us, oh my goodness, she's been sick for weeks and her husband's been sick and she's been working here and she also substitute teaches at the junior high middle school. I mean, all of those little flags were going off in my brain like, okay, she needs my multivitamin. Her and her hubby are sick. She works an extra job. She works 2 jobs, Dillard's and at the school. You guys, that was the perfect opportunity for me to say, oh my gosh, listen, this is what we do. I think you would be awesome at it. Number 1, you have an incredible personality. You came over here and you've helped my mom with a coat. Number 2, I can hear it in your voice that you don't feel good. Let me tell you about my multivitamin and let me tell you about what I do. Like, how many times do we miss the opportunity to share the business with somebody because we're not listening? We've got to listen. We've got to listen. When we go to the grocery store, when we're at the mall, when we're at our kids' functions, and you hear somebody talking, listen, and then bring that opportunity, give that time to, you know, always listen first. I always tell people, listen first, don't just start blabbing plexus. Build that relationship with them and then start talking to them about what you do. We make it way harder than it is. I promise you we make it harder than it is. And if you grow your passion, it becomes easier. Is the business easy? Heck no. You guys know that. This is hard work. Like, our business is hard, but it's easy to share, right? It's easy to share. And so I'm going to challenge you guys to work on your personal growth so you have that passion and that heart to share, because that's where it starts. If you are growing yourself personally, you're going to be able to talk about it way easier maybe than you can even now. And I was telling the team last night, we were talking about personal growth. And I know that some of you on here could say the same thing. I'm not the same person today that I was when I joined Plexus, right? You guys agree with that, you know? And it's something that it's transpired over 4 years of the culture of Plexus. The people I've met have changed my life. The people that are on these teams have changed my life. Watching people get on Plexus has changed my life. Learning about positive affirmations and personal growth and all of that stuff has changed my life. It's something that I did not know was going to happen. You know, I joined for the business wanting a little paycheck every single month, and it has turned into something so much bigger, so much bigger. And so I want you guys to think about that. If you're not sharing right now, if you're not even sharing about the products, or you're not sharing about the business on social media, if you're not sharing it with your friends and family, or when you go to the grocery store or whatnot, ask yourself, what's stopping you from sharing? What's stopping you? Is it personal growth? Do you need to grow yourself personally? Do you need to crack open a book that will help you grow personally? Do you need to maybe listen to some videos when you're going back and forth to pick up your kids from school in your car that helps you with personal growth? Those little things every single day consistently will change your passion for this business. I promise you it will. I'm talking so fast. Is there any questions that people want to ask me right now? And I can even jump into them. The messages that I send out, I had a lady that joined me this last week. Somebody said, how do you approach a new ambassador when they join you to share the business? And I have a message, and I'll send it to Beth so she can give it to you guys. I have a message that I post to the person, send it in a messenger. Like the lady that joined me this a couple days ago, I know she works full time. She's a corporate mama. So I knew sending her voice messages was probably not going to be a good idea because she can't listen to those at work. And so I sent her some messages on Messenger of what she could do to get started. You guys, so many times we make it harder because you've got a newbie that joins you. And I think this is because when we joined this company, this is kind of what we were taught, and it's taught with network marketing. Make your list of 100, or, you guys hear that all the time. Keep it simpler. Like I told my gal, listen, let's get you a list of 20. Like, can you give me a list of 20 people? I will help you create a message, and I want you to post on Facebook when your products get in the mail. We started talking about this before her products were even delivered to her house. Because you guys, we got to talk about it while they're still excited. When they hit that join button, they're excited to get started on their products. They are so excited. So you got to take advantage of that excitement. Don't wait 2 weeks. Don't wait 3 weeks to message your new ambassador and then go, oh, did you get your products in the mail? I want to help you get started. Don't do that. Do it immediately. Get in contact with them now, and then stay in contact with them every single day until they start getting comfortable. And that just looks like a simple message to them, you guys. I told her a list of 20. Here's your post. Take a picture of your products and put my name in there. And when people start asking questions, this is what you can say. And I helped her with that too. People are going to be like, what's Plexus? Tell her some great little paragraphs, 2 and 3 sentence messages that she can say what Plexus is. When they ask for the price, tell them to private message you. Little things like that we're missing that can help you duplicate your business so it turns into a business. It can create that excitement. It can create that momentum that we're searching for on our teams, And again, that's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to do that, and I understand that. But it's worth a shot to have that communication with your new ambassador. To say, listen, we're going to do this together. Go ahead.
Hey, I was going to say, when you're talking about personal growth, because a lot of people don't necessarily know what you mean by growing yourself, and that will grow your passion. Like, what are some things that you mean to grow yourself? Like, what are things, what I'm saying?
That's a great question. Okay, so like for instance, I recently just did a book study with my team, and I read the book Get Over Your Damn Self. And you guys, she talks about leading with the business. Her whole entire mantra on her book is leading with the business. And so it gives you confidence to know what you're doing is not just a bunch of fluff, right? And so books like that. What's another one we just read? We read What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Oh, my goodness. If you guys have not read that book yet, read that book. Order it on Amazon or go to your library, whatever you have to do to get to that book. I think it was like $10 or $12. I can't remember. It's literally this big, and you can read it like in a day. And the book talks about reprogramming your brain on what we're telling ourselves. And this is something I talked about with my mom the last few days, because I would catch her saying something negative, like, oh, I can't do that. I just, I'm not smart enough to do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop that. Like, what we tell ourselves is so important to our everyday lives, And so personal growth is me getting on YouTube and putting in morning motivation. Like, just go Google morning motivation on your YouTube channel. It's amazing what you can find and listen to it every single day. I start off my days like that. I don't get out of bed until I give myself some positive feedback to my brain because I want to start my day like that. You guys, that trickles down to your children. It trickles down to your family, your husband, your job. If you work outside the home or whatnot, how you start your day trickles down to that. People buy into you. They don't buy into your business. So when we're talking about leading with the business, they're going to be buying into you. So what kind of person are you? What kind of message are you sending out to people on your Facebook post? What kind of messages do you send out to people through your daily grammar? Like, how are you talking? Ask yourself that. People will buy into you. Don't be selling Plexus to somebody. Nobody wants to buy Plexus, you guys. We don't want to sell Plexus. We want to share it because we're so stinking passionate about it, because people love it and the products are changing lives, right? That's why we want to share it.
I agree. And I think in saying that, that's why it's so important. And I'm not saying, like when I think of Jenny, I think of joy. I think of happiness. I think of, like we all have our bad days and we'll call each other and vent and then get over it. But in the same thing, we're laughing about something so stupid. Like I think of just fun. And I think that that's so important because she's so true. And I've read that in so many different books. People are buying into you. They're not buying into your business, and they want what you have. And so they don't necessarily want your life because they don't want to be you, but you know what I'm saying? They want but they do, they want you. And so it's very important to stay positive and to stay happy. And no matter if you're having a terrible day, you have to stay real for sure. I mean, everybody knows that we're real, but that's one thing that I can say about Jenn is that no matter what, she has joy, and she loves her family, and she puts her family first. And so, you know, seeing that, like if I wasn't a part of Plexus, I would want to be that, because those are the things that I want. I want to be happy. I want to be joyous. I want to have fun. I want to be able to put my family first. And so that would be very appealing to me. And that's what she means by we're not selling the business. People don't want the business. People want what we have. And so she's a prime example of that for sure.
Well, and also talking about that, when you're thinking, well, I don't know how to work the business, or I don't know how to lead with the business, you guys, be you. Like, I think so many times we get trapped in the thinking of, well, I'm watching how so-and-so is posting on Instagram, or I'm watching how so-and-so is posting on Facebook. That's just not me. Well, you know what? People don't want that person. They want you. Be real, and stop comparing yourself to all these people out there. That can get you into such a rut. It is so unhealthy, and I'm preaching to the choir because I do it too. And it's something I have to pray about and say, okay, Jennifer, knock it off. Like literally knock it off. And I have to take stock of where I am in my life and in my business. And if it's not going the way I want to go, then I need to change something. And that's when I dig in, you guys. I dig into my YouTube motivational videos. I dig into the books that I have at home, because this is so worth it to me. Like, I want to leave a legacy for my family. And I know that Plexus is my legacy that I'll be leaving. And it's so much more than a product. You guys, it's so much more than a product. I believe that Plexus is a platform for us to lead into other things with our lives. You know how many people I've gotten to share Jesus with because of Plexus? Like, it's just given you that comfortableness to be able to talk about it, you know, on many, many levels, lots of different things. Okay, so somebody asked me what you share exactly when you reach out and lead with the business. Okay, I'll send you some messages, Beth, so you can post those.
Okay. We'll just post them. Yeah, we'll post them on the team page.
A lot of my messages,
watching on the team page.
Watch the team page. A lot of my messages are voice messages, and so I just talk, you know, so who knows what I'm saying. Hey, if you guys don't know how to record your voice messages and send them to yourself, have you guys done that yet? Do you guys do that? I just learned this like a few weeks ago, and it's amazing. And so you can record voice messages on your messenger and send it to you. You know how many times when you do a voice message and it's like all wacky and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just sent that. That did not make sense. And so you can voice record it, send it to yourself, and then forward it on to whoever you're wanting to send it. So you can voice record it 10 times if that's what it takes. So a lot of my messages are voice messages. Let's see. When I reach out and lead with the business, I ask questions. I'm positive. I may bring up something that I see that they do or that I like about them to give them some positive feedback and positive compliment before I even start talking about my business. I'm such a relationship person. I know a lot of people talk about cold messages and things like that, and maybe reaching out to people to referral messages, which I've done all that. But for me personally, building relationships with people and talking to people what has helped me grow my business. And I think that's what will be, for me, the most comfortable thing to do. So I'll send that to you, Beth. Let's see. I wanted to read you my message, and I'll send this to you too, Beth, on, how you are talking to your new ambassadors and how you're getting them started on their first post. It's so awesome to get them to take a picture of their products or a picture of their family and post it on their first Plexus post. You guys, if you can get their products paid for from the get-go, they're going to stay around a long time. So like the message that I sent out to my new girl a couple days ago, and like I said, she's a corporate mom. So I said, I know you're at work and we'll get to these messages as you can. Never stress about not getting back to me right away. I know you're a busy mama. Here's a great place for you to start. Make a list of about 20 to begin with. People that you would like to share Plexus with. I continue to do this 4 years into my business, and sharing organically my passion for Plexus helps me to continue to grow. I have no doubt that people adore you, trust you, and will want to see what you are doing as you start to post about it on Facebook. So notice that I complimented her because she's amazing and I do adore her. So I let her know that people will trust her when she starts to talk about Plexus. And also know that I said, people will want to see what you're doing when you start to post about it on Facebook. Like I already put it in her brain that, sister, you're going to post about this on Facebook. I didn't say, do you think you're comfortable enough to post on Facebook? Because you know what she's going to say? Heck no, I don't want to post about that on Facebook. And so I just let her know, you can do this. And I said, I know it's scary, but it would be a great idea to take a picture of your products and say something like, and you can tag me in your post, they're here, and I'm excited to get started on my products from Plexus. They've helped my friend Jenn and her family with so much, and I'm hoping to make a change for the better for my family too. Who wants to join me? That was the only message that I sent her. And then I sent her a Frank's list. You guys, that's on our team pages too. So it could be a memory jogger list for you. Okay, how do you transition after they say no to the business? That's an awesome question. You guys, we have these products called Pink Drink and Bio and all that jazz. I just immediately start talking about my products. Okay, you don't want the business? That's awesome, but have you tried my probiotic? It's the best one in the whole entire country. Like, you're gonna fall in love with my probiotic. Like, I start talking about the products because that's the next thing that we go to. I start talking about the pink drink or whatever. I just go into maybe like, okay, great. You don't want the business. How about some extra energy? Because girl, I can hook you up with some extra energy, or something like that. Let's see. I need to work on that. It's not even, yeah. Oh, sometimes I am too blunt. I need to work on that. You know what? People know and love you for what you are. Like if you're naturally a blunt person, that's not going to surprise them one bit. Let's see. What do you tell the ones who work and say they are just too tired, busy, done with the day after work? Like they say want to work with you. Oh goodness, yeah. Lots of excuses. Tips on encouraging them to fit Plex into their daily life. You know what? I say, do you have 5 minutes? I mean, honestly, look how tired you are to come home from work. Maybe you're exhausted and you just are done for the day. What's 5 minutes? What's 5 minutes for you to post or send a quick message out? Because if you're tired of work and you don't want to work Plexus, how awesome would it be for you to have that freedom to do it and not have to go to work? You know what I'm saying? The excuses thing, you guys are going to get that all the time. Is your why bigger than your excuses? We talk about our why all the time. It's got to be bigger than your excuses. If you're not, you're going to be stuck in that rut that we are talking about. So that's where we talk about taking stock of your life and figuring it out. And sometimes that's a message that you got to have with somebody, communication.
Well, and share a story too. I mean, guys, I'm a prime example. I did not have time to work this business at all. Like, I literally was working like all these part-time jobs, and Scott traveled all the time. And so if you know somebody that is their excuse, give them my story. Tell them my story. Put me in a room, chat with them.
What I always tell people when they tell me I'm too tired, my very first customer, very first ambassador was a corporate girl, and she turned emerald with me. And she worked corporate job all the time. Her and her husband, she worked a corporate job, and they mowed lawns during the summer and spring. I mean, they talk about not having time. She didn't have time to work the business, but she found time. We found time to call each other or message each other or talk to one another. She's still to this day is my accountability partner, my power partner. And we built this business together. So when people tell me they don't have time, that they work their other job, I always talk about my friend Kim Watson. Because she was a corporate girl, and now she has that freedom from her corporate world to work this job. She's got an incredible testimony about that. So any other question? I feel like I'm talking so
I have questions. Are you ready for my questions?
Sure. I'm nervous now. What?
They're not scary. So like I said before, Jenn took this to an area that there was not Plexus. Jenn did not know about Plexus. So she signed in June, and I went up there, I think in July of the next year, and did a meeting. But she didn't wait for me, y'all. She started having meetings in her house. She didn't know what to do. She'd never been to a meeting. She'd never done anything, but she started having meetings in her house. And so tell me what you think about the importance of, and I'm not saying you have to have parties and meetings every week. I know that that's one thing about Plexus is we don't have to have those for sure. But tell me your thoughts on that, because I know you still do meetings every monthly, weekly. Yeah. So,
when we first started, we called them Plexus Power Nights. And Kim and I started doing these once a week. We did them on Monday nights to begin with. We did them once a week. And you guys, it was honestly open to whoever. So if we had a team member that could come over, it started off, maybe we had 2 or 3, and then it grew to 4 and 8 and 12. We would have all these people come over. We didn't make it a big deal. We sat in my living room and talked Plexus. If they had a guest or a friend that they wanted to share it with, they brought them along. Maybe we changed our conversations a little bit and didn't talk so much business. Maybe we talked about what the products were doing to change our lives or whatnot. The conversation kind of depended on who was there. But we consistently did it weekly, our Plexus Power Nights. And then it got so full, we started to do them once a month. And then we started moving them into a different facility. And so we started having them at my bank. Like, my bank allowed me to have it in the conference room, And you guys, it was an hour out of our day, 1 hour. If we did it monthly, it was an hour out of the month to meet with people. And I do love, you guys, that our business isn't party driven. I don't want to be in a party driven business, but I want to be in a relationship building business. And that's what I look at it as. My power partner is an introvert and I'm an extrovert. And so for her, that was kind of nerve-wracking to know that we had to have these events to begin with. She was like, it was kind of a nerve-wracking thing. But as she began to see lives change, as we began to hear these stories, that changed. That wasn't such a stressor. And so if you do live in an area, start getting people together. If it's ambassadors, make it a training. If you've got some guests, make it an opportunity event. It just depends on the people you have there. Just do it and make them simple. So many times I think people think we need all these cheese trays and wine and food and blah, blah, blah. And you guys, it just needs to be you. And if you want a cup of coffee, grab a cup of coffee or whatever. Just keep it simple, but just do it. Do it with your team. The camaraderie of your team will start to change.
Well, that was going to be my next question. And something I think of another thing I think of, and Becky Page talked about, this was her quote actually last week, if y'all were on the Becky Page Zoom, was be a good friend to your downline. And that's what Jenn is. And she reaches out to people, and they'll just go for coffee last minute or whatever. And she's a friend because it is about relationships. And if you keep those relationships and build those relationships, then your team is going to continue to grow because people want to be a part of something. And so, Jenn, I know that there's a lot of people on here who can sign ambassadors like nobody's business and have, tons of ambassadors, but they never do anything, and they never, they may not be growing because their ambassadors aren't staying around. And one thing that I think that you do that really is very helpful in that is you not only have those, you'll have team get-togethers. I know recently you had one at your house, and y'all had chili night. And I was so jealous I wasn't there, but we FaceTimed me in, and so I was there. And I was there for a second. But anyways, that's always been huge to you, and you always do things. So talk about that too, because I truly believe if you can get people involved in something, they're never going to go away. And so what would you say to the person that does, is signing people monthly or whatever, but they're not growing and their level ones aren't working? How about that? I mean, what would you say to that?
Again, it's that relationship that you're missing out on. And my workout shirt says your vibe attracts your tribe. And I believe that your vibe attracts your tribe. And again, it goes back to how you're portraying yourself and what you want to get across to people. We do have coffees, chili nights. I mean, you've been here for our barbecues, we just, and again, I know that's not for everybody. Like, I've got that blue personality that you tell me to plan a party, I'm like on it. Like, I love to do that sort of thing. And so having a chili night, I just told my team, we're going to have chili and somebody bring the cinnamon rolls. We're in Nebraska, guys.
You Nebraska people are so crazy.
Beth thinks that's just nuts.
That's a joke. It's really not a joke. Nebraska and Iowa people, because I know we have some Iowa people, eat chili and cinnamon rolls. Like, even at school lunch, they have cinnamon rolls with their chili. And I think it's the most bizarre thing ever. And I would never, ever try it, probably, maybe once. But that's what they do. We eat Fritos and they eat cinnamon rolls.
So, if you've got an ambassador that is not working, or maybe they are not, they're just not a part of your Plexus culture yet, ask them what they're looking for. Again, it goes back to, we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we talk way too much sometimes. So maybe go to that level 1 and say, okay, the Plexus culture is so incredible, and I so want you to be a part of it. Like, tell me what attracts you. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what would make your business grow because it was something that you were interested in. Is it going to coffee? Is it having team trainings or whatnot? Is it doing a 3-way call, with that person in your upline? Like, ask that person what they are looking for. And I know it's tough because we have team members like all over the country, and that's always hard for me too, because I hate leaving people out. I wish we lived around everybody. But I would ask them what they are looking for, and be diligent, you guys, in staying in communication with them. I think so many times communication gets lost. And we forget about those people. It's kind of easy to do that sometimes, especially if you've got a runner over here and you talk to your runner on a daily basis, and then you kind of forget about this girl over here that you haven't heard from in a month. Why haven't you heard from her in a month? Like, have you reached out to her? And maybe you have, and she hasn't gotten back to you. Like, what message are you sending her or him or whoever? Again, it's building that relationship.
Okay, I have 2 more questions. These have been easy for you, so I have it with me. The next one is, I know that, like, we all have wholesale ambassadors, right? And I joined as a wholesale ambassador and said I was not working this business. And if Celeste would not have pushed me, then I would not be where I am now. But what would you say, like, when somebody says I'm just wholesale? Because I know a lot of people, and me back in the day included, when somebody would say I'm just wholesale, I would leave them at that, and I wouldn't even really check in on them at all, which is unfortunate that I did that. But I really didn't know. And so, but I think that that's where a lot of people too can sign people like crazy, but they're not growing because, and we talked about this, I don't know if I was on a Zoom or I heard a Zoom, but somebody talked about this, about, you have to have team builders. And so, but you can't count out all those wholesale, because again, I would probably say about 75 to 80%, if not more, Jules only signed up for wholesale. So what is that switch? Like, what do you do when somebody says, I don't want to work this business, I only want to be wholesale? Like, what would you do with that person? Would you just let them go, or what do you do?
Well, and that's most of them. It really is. I mean, and thank goodness we have those wholesale ambassadors that are faithful. Right. You know, I've had some that have been with me 3 and 4 years that are wholesale. They order consistently every single month. But you never know when they're going to have that switch in their brain that they're like, oh my gosh, I'm a huge walking billboard for my business or for my products because they've changed my life. How do I switch? Like, how do I change? And I know that Jamie's on here, and I'm going to use her as an example. She was a wholesale ambassador for I don't know, Jamie, a year or something before she called me one day, because I probably checked in with her, you know, monthly or every other month or whatnot. You know, those people that you have wholesale and you just don't talk to them, you know, consistently.
But you do talk to them, just not every week. It's absolutely still check in every once in a while.
Right. Yeah. Check in, you know, once a month or whatnot, see how they're doing, see how their product's doing. Or you guys, I send them a card in the mail, like, I was thinking about you today or whatnot. My pharmacist has been a wholesale ambassador of mine for over 3 years. And I want her to be with me forever. So I do check in with her, send her a card or a little thinking of you note or something like that. So yeah, monthly check in with those people. But like for Jamie, I remember her calling me and saying, hey, can we meet at Starbucks for coffee? I want to talk to you. And I was like, yeah, we can do that. You guys, I probably hadn't seen her in a year. She'd been faithful, consistent, ordered from me every single month. We got to Starbucks and I was like, holy cow, who is this woman? She'd lost like 40 pounds. She looked amazing. The products had changed her life. And she said, how do I share? Like, she had seen me sharing on Facebook. She'd seen me posting about it and wanted to know how to do that. Well, she had already been this walking billboard for her business because she had lost 40 pounds. So it was just, it switched the brain to, okay, you've gone from wholesale ambassador to wholesale, I'm going to be a business builder. And do you remember, Beth, that after the first few months of that, she was on the leaderboard for the most preferred customers in the whole entire company. Yeah. So that was just her posting a before and after, or posting, no, it wasn't a before and after. It was her posting herself in a little black dress. And she said her pink drink in her little black dress or whatever. It was awesome. And so just staying in communication with those that are wholesalers, because you never know when they're going to make that switch around in their brain to work the business. Because you guys know, Plexus has grown organically from the stories that have been told. We're not like any other network marketing business where, you know, we're selling a product, we're having these parties, we're product driven, we have to stock product, all that stuff. Plexus is not like that. We're different. And so to grow organically is to share organically. Again, be yourself, be authentic. That's what people buy into. They buy into you, not what you're selling. And so that's what I talk to them about. Like, okay, you've been a wholesaler, and sometimes they're tough. They're fine where they're at, and they're not going to switch, and that's totally fine. But it's great to have that conversation. Like, okay, you've been going wholesale for a whole 16 months. Are you ready to get your products paid for? I can help you. Like, I can seriously help you do that. What do you think?
Well, and that may be even just saying, hey, you have been doing this for so long. Would you just share with your mom or your sister or your best friend or whatever, and just giving them those ideas? Sometimes they think it has to be this super hard thing. And truthfully, that's what I did. My first customer was sitting in the driveway with me whenever I signed up for Plexus. I didn't even know what I was taking. And he's like, well, if you're going to try it, I'll try it. You know, sometimes people will do it with you just because they trust you. And so, you know, but I think sometimes we make it so hard. So, okay, I lied. I actually have one extra question.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll do this one first, and then I'm going to let you end on the second one. Because you are bubbly and happy and totally blue, 1,000,000% totally blue. And I'm just going to keep it real. We all have bad days, right? So, like, in your 4 years, Have you had a bad day? Have you had a bad month? Have you had, oh my gosh. And, as far as even, have you like maybe gone back a little bit and then have to grow again and all of that? Like, I know the answer to that because I know the answer for all of us, but how do you handle that? Because sometimes you can get discouraged. And so how do you handle that?
First of all, I pray about it. Like, I think and Nathan's walking in here. He goes like this because he knows he's my rock. My husband just walked in the kitchen. You guys, of course, like, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you how many roller coasters I've been on. Like, they say to stay off of it, but sometimes it's easy to get on it and it's hard to get off. But I'm going to say first and foremost, I always just like ask the Lord to bring me peace. Like, He is the Prince of Peace. And so if we are not looking to Him for how we're going to handle whatever mood we're in trouble. So I always search Him first. And then my husband, he is a huge motivator and rock. Here, let me have that.
See, they just laugh. Like, being around their family is just,
oh my goodness.
There's no telling what it is.
I know. So this is funny. He just handed me this, you guys. So if you don't take the Vital Biome, you guys, this product is amazing, number one. And let me tell you a quick story because I know it's like time to get off of here. My mom was here for 5 days, okay? And so you know how as mother-daughter, we could get on each other's nerves. And usually after 2 days, I'm ready to just let my mom have it because she's irritating me. So I hope she's not on here. God, I love my mother. She's amazing.
She's amazing.
But after day 5, Nathan goes, I'm so proud of you. Like, you never even snapped at your mom. You were just very, very calm. And I was like, Nathan, it's the Vital Biome. So if you guys don't take this anxiety, stress, clinical study product, it's amazing. But no, if you don't have a power partner or an accountability partner or, even a sideline sister to talk to when you get in those moods, think about getting one.
But somebody can talk you out of it, not dwell in the situation.
No, and you can't have somebody that you're going to call and you're going to be like that, and then they're like, that leads to all badness. Like, don't get in a group chat. Don't be negative. Don't do that. Just don't do that. You need somebody that's going to be like, hey, snap out of it. Like, we're going to get back into momentum. We've lost some points this month. It's okay. Like, we've gone through this before, right? This isn't like new news, And so you've got to be able to tell yourself, maybe you are in a rut, but you're going to go pull yourself out of it. Again, I'm a huge motivational listen to her. YouTube and motivational videos are my thing. And so that will pull me out of it. When I'm putting my makeup on in the morning or I'm getting in my car to run to the Sonic or whatnot, I put something on and it changes my whole thinking. Okay. So do that if you're not doing that.
Yeah. And I don't mean Plexus is amazing. A day in Plexus is way better than a day lots of other places. But I will say this, in any business that you're in, whether it be the Sonic or whether it be if you own a dry cleaners or whether it be whatever, there's going to be highs and lows in every business. And in life, we're going to have a bad day. And so sometimes I just think that you do need that person. You do need that, listening. You need the positive going in so the negative will go out, right? We all have bad days. And, the happiest of people, if they say they don't have a bad day, then they're crazy lying. Mm-hmm. Anyways. Okay. So one more question and then it's going to be time. But, you do so many different amazing things. And so will you just touch on, you do, Ariel the other day was talking about, she's like, oh my gosh, she has all these creative ideas. And tonight you're doing a different, you just think outside the box. Tonight you're doing, explain what you're doing tonight. And then will you just touch on maybe a couple of things that you do, maybe even with your team or with, to think outside the box. So it's not just because here's the deal, guys. And I'm going to say this, and I know Jenn's going to agree with it. You cannot just post on Facebook and be successful at this business. Now, hear me when I say that. You need to post on Facebook to be successful at this business because so it is a free marketing, opportunity. However, your page cannot just be Plexus. I look through my page all the time and I promise if it's all Plexus because people have tagged me and stuff, you better believe I'm going to chill it for a little bit and put lots of other stuff on. But you cannot just post on Facebook. And so many times I hear that I'm posting on Facebook. Why isn't this happening for me? Okay. Are you reaching out to people? Are you reaching out to your team? Are you in personal communication via hiding behind your computer? Even with team members, like you have to, like I can tell you on a weekly basis, I talk to almost every one of my runners multiple times a week, or every other week, just depending on the week. Even if it's not a level one, like I talk to Jenn numerous times a week typically. And so you cannot just hide behind Facebook. You cannot just hide behind social media. You have to get out there. And so Jenn does a great job of coming up with different things to do. And tonight's a prime example of what she's doing. And so if you can just give us a couple suggestions on things that you do, because you really are creative in doing these things.
Well, and I have to say, like, I cannot take any credit for any creativity that I have. Like, it's usually something I've seen somebody else do, or, there's other Plexus ambassadors that I've talked to, and maybe they're trying something different, and we brainstorm ourselves a little bit to figure stuff out. So the great thing about our Plexus business, you guys, is we don't have to recreate the wheel. Like, there's a lot of intelligent, amazing people out there that are doing all these awesome things to grow their business. And I just jump on board with that. Like, if I see something that interests me, I'm like, okay, I want to do that for my team. Kim and I are doing these, we're doing a mom life Zoom tonight. I contacted a couple moms from Texas. I contacted a California mom. I contacted a Colorado mom. And these are all people that I've come in contact with through Plexus, and we're on Facebook together. And I just messaged them. I'm like, hey, you're a mama, you've got kids, like you're into health, you love your Plexus business, this business has changed your life. Let's do a Zoom together and have an event and invite people so they can hear our mom story. So we're having a mom life event tonight for moms. So anybody's welcome to jump on there. But that's just, I saw somebody else doing it, honestly, and I was like, I'm going to do this. We are doing the 7-day Plexus Slim Challenge every single month. If you guys aren't doing those, do them. It's 7 days of testimonies, live testimonies, written testimonies, product information. And you guys, it all boils down to being consistent with whatever you're going to try. Like, try something. You're not going to know if it's going to work or create momentum on your team within the first month. It may take you 5 months or 6 months or whatever for it to get going, but just try different things. It's all about sharing and getting the word out. It's all about getting the word out with what you're doing. What else? Let me see. What was I going to say about that?
The thing that I love about you saying these things is that, you may not have come up with all of them. You're not scared to try them, and you do.
No.
And here's the deal, guys. All of these things don't take, a ton of time to do. They'll be on there probably for an hour tonight. That is an hour out of their night, but it's something totally different. The 7-day challenge group, what's that taking you? Just a few minutes every single day.
Yeah. And normally I post that the night before I go to bed. Like, it's something I do. We can time those posts out on our Facebook, and it's something I do before I even go to bed. And I don't have to worry about it the next morning. But, brainstorm and talk to people and try new things. Again, people are buying into you, not necessarily your product. And so they're watching you. And if you're not jumping on these events, if you see, because corporate does it all the time, they've got the power hours rolling, they've got the opportunity monthly events rolling, that it's open up to everybody. If you're not taking advantage of that, you're missing out, I promise you. And so start doing that. We started doing power half hours on our team, which I haven't done any in the last couple weeks, but we were doing them every single day. A power half hour, and just somebody on our team, I would message and say, hey, today's your day, it's Tuesday, do you want to do the power half hour? We have messages written out. It's 30 minutes of a Zoom call and logging on and giving people IPA messages, because a lot of times people get stuck and don't know what to say or how to share with somebody. And so Yeah, we've done that too. I will give Beth the link. I'm keeping it private because my meeting is capped out at 100 people. So if I go over that, I would be in trouble. But I do have the link that I can share with Beth, so we can get that to her. What else? Did I answer your question here or not?
Yeah, you did. I mean, just people thinking of different things and different ideas to do. And what I want to encourage everybody is to know is if you have one person show up, that's one person that doesn't know about Plexus, or one person that's interested. Or if you have team members show up, that's somebody that wants to do this business. And so you can't get discouraged. Like I've had meetings that only ambassadors showed up when they were opportunity meetings. Did that discourage me? No. We just chatted. We changed our whole.
As a training.
We changed it and we brainstormed and we trained. And then we moved on and had the next one had more. And so you just have to keep going. You cannot get discouraged and give up because Plexus is not going anywhere. Plexus is changing people's lives. The products are changing people's lives. The business are changing people's lives. And I truly believe, and I know that lots of y'all heard my preaching moment a couple weeks ago about God plucking you and God plucking you out of everyone and giving you your story. And God gave you Plexus. And so I believe that, you should take it and you should run. And what that looks like, I don't know what that looks like, but it's your story. It's not my story. It's not Jenn's story. It's not anybody else's story but yours. And so you can't look to the left and you can't look to the right and say, well, she's gone this fast or she's gone this fast or whatever. Or, she doesn't struggle. Well, that's a lie because everybody has good days, bad days. But it's your story. And so he has placed Plexus in your life for a reason. And you are the vessel that he is using to change other people's lives, whether it be the products or the business. But what I love is that it has changed Jenn's life in both ways, but she started straight up for the business, not even knowing anything about products. And so I'm glad that she hopped on here because I want people to know, because that's something that I struggle with, is because I didn't start with just the business and I didn't want it to become a business. I'm thankful that it did become a business. And so, if we think outside that box and think differently and change our mindset, then, people go to sleep literally at night stressed out about how they're going to pay their bills. Like I remember going to the grocery store, like she said, not being able to spend more than $30 for the week. Like I remember that, y'all. And then I remember a year or two after Plexus being at the grocery store, my cart was overflowing and a man literally stopped me and said, man, your husband must have a good job. Your cart is full. And, I'm not saying by any means that to brag. What I'm saying is it could be provision. And actually that cart that man was talking about was probably half ours and half that we were giving to other people. And so this can be the provision that he has given you. And you don't know it, but somebody in your life may need this. They may need that provision. And I'm going to tell you right now, nobody knew that I could only spend $30 at the grocery store because I was a good baker. Nobody knew that we were struggling financially. People are out there that need this business. And so, I always say, like, for the product side, but for the business side too, we can't be ashamed to keep it to ourselves, because I was scared to share it, absolutely scared to share this business. I was scared to share these products. What were people going to think of me? People were going to unfriend me. That was my thought. People were going to talk about me. And you know what? I have had a couple people unfriend me. I have had people snap back at me, like over a message. But I've had a whole lot more people who can get out of bed and spend time with their kids because they feel better, or a whole lot of people who aren't in chronic pain anymore, or a whole lot of people who can send their kids to gymnastics because they made a little bit of income. And so we have to be proud of that, and we have to be thankful for that, and we can't be ashamed of that. And we have to be that vessel that God is using to share with other people, because I'm telling you, you can change so many lives and not even know it. And it's really cool to sit back and see it's not me, it's all God, but it's God working through me for sure. And so thank you so much for sharing today, because I love your story, and I'm so thankful that you are a part of this, and I can't imagine you not being in my life. So
me too. I'm so thankful.
But anyway, so we'll post this next week, guys. We are doing testimony, so next week will not be recorded. So be on the lookout for the graphic, and We're going to have some great stories. That will be our last Zoom before spring break. Spring break is the next week for a lot of us. And so next week will be our last one before spring break, and then we'll kick it back off. But Jenny's, y'all be watching the page. I'm actually about to head out the door to go to Dallas for opportunity meeting tonight. But y'all be watching, and we'll stick stuff on the page as soon as we can get it on there. The recording will probably not be up until tomorrow because it has to download, upload, all of that. But I will get that out when I get back from Dallas. So anyways, thank y'all so much. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day.